Hey, hi, hello, and welcome back to the Danger Zone. We are here to talk about my December TBR. I'm not going to go into the whole, everyone's saying it. I'm not going to say it. You know what it is. Fill in the blank here. But what I am going to do before we go into my roles is go over November and the books that were on my TBR for that and how we did. So I'm cheating, kind of. I'm considering my TBR complete. I had 6 books on my TBR. In the month of November, I read Mate, The Reckoning, Carl's Doomsday Scenario, and The Twisted Dead. I started Brimstone, but the issue became, by the time it came out, I only had access to it physically, and where I was at the time, my physical location, there wasn't a way for me to realistically hold the book and read it. So I did start it with every intention to finish it before the first, but unfortunately that didn't happen, but I am counting it. Now, Buffalo Hunter Hunter, I technically didn't read. I did attempt it, but I think it was wrong book, wrong time, because my mental state has been bing, 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 bing. And anything that requires more than about 3 brain cells, I just, So I did soft DNF it for now. I am going to try it again in the future to see if maybe me being in a different headspace will make things go a little bit better, smoother. But I am able to say, though, that my November TBR is complete, which means when we zoom to the next thing in however many seconds I ramble for, we're going to get to remove a danger zone spot, making the board a little safer for me. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is remove a danger zone spot because I basically completed my TBR for November. Hooray! So I'm going to take off this one just because it's further in and I don't really feel like coming up with a way to choose what we get rid of. But now we're using Stitch again because Stitch was good luck last month. But all right, let's roll this dice. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Starting with a pink card. Oh, it's chunky. Sometimes books are short and sweet. Sometimes they're the perfect length. In this case, choose a book that is over 500 pages. We got the ooh, it's chunky card. So this means that I need to read a book that is 500 pages or more. I'm a fantasy and romantasy reader. There are a lot of books in my life that are longer than 500 pages. But I am going to dive right in to something that I have been putting off for the last 5 months. Anyone who has watched my channel this year knows exactly what book is about to be in this spot. I am going to be reading Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series. It is following Selena Sardothian, going by whatever name she also goes by, and a bunch of other characters. I have no reason to have not read this book yet. I finished Heir of Fire in like July or August, and I should have read this within a month after. I was just slacking and afraid, realistically afraid, which is why the prompt for Chunky is the perfect time to put Queen of Shadows on this TBR. All right, roll number 2. 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, it didn't matter that we removed the second one because we're hitting the first. Let's see. Friend pick. Choose any friend. They get free reign over your physical TBR and must select one book for you to read. And then, of course, we go back to the beginning. And with one giant book on the TBR, it only makes sense that we already go back to the beginning. And we got friend pick. Look at the cute little bears. I am in a Discord server called Where the Wild Friends Are. And this is where a lot of my friends in the bookish community get together. We do buddy reads, we talk, we just have a chaotic, goofy, fun time. when I pulled this card, messaged that chat and said, hey, who wants to be my friend? And I gave them access to a spreadsheet with all the books from my physical library. And my friend Sherry, who does have a YouTube channel at Sherry's Shelves, I'll tag her down below, she chose a book that I am so excited to read. So Sherry chose Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. So in November, while not on my TBR, I binged through Part of Your World. I used the excuse of it was on my 10 before the end and I wanted to get to it. And I wanted to pick up the sequel immediately because I was so locked in. There was a night I was on sprints with that and the timer went off and I forgot I was live because that's how life has been lifing lately. I was very excited that Sherry put this as my friend pick because I know I'm going to get to this and I know I'm going to devour it. And I'm very sure it will be another 5-star for me. All right, roll number 3. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Free pick. So free pick means I can pick any book, whether it's from my shelves, my Kindle TBR, my brain, something someone has been telling me I need to get to just because I need to get to it. And I went with a book that is supposed to fulfill a couple different projects for me. I'm using it for a few different readathons. I'm using it for my Herkyed challenge. It's part of the series that I want to complete in 2026. And also my 10 before the end, Neon Gods by Katie Robert. I have been looking forward to reading this since I read Wicked Villains years ago. I don't know why I haven't read it yet. I don't know what has been making me put it off this long, but something's got to give. And it is time for me to read this. I love Greek retellings. I love Katie Roberts' writing. I have been so ready to read another story from her. And when I was gifted this copy of Neon Gods for a wish list event in a group that I'm in, I knew it was going to become a higher priority. And here we are, getting it on that TBR right at the end of the year. Roll number 4, I think. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Purple. So let's see what our purple card is. Roll the d6. If I roll a 1, I get to remove a danger zone. 2 to 3, draw a blue card. 4 to 5, go to the recommendation jar. And 6 is move on. 4. So I will be getting a book from the recommendation jar. Next, we got a purple card, and we rolled to get a recommendation from the recommendation jar. Full confession, I haven't set the jar up yet. However, I did put my books that have been on it into a spinner wheel and completely forgot to film it. You're going to just have to take my word for it. And my good friend Sherry makes another appearance on this TBR. And thanks to Sherry, I will be reading Lady of Darkness by Melissa K. Roerig. I know very little about this book other than it is great, according to most people I know that have read it. I've heard more about Melissa's other series, The Legacy, but I know that it works better to read that one after you read Lady of Darkness. If predictions go the way I think predictions are going to go, I'm going to be unlocking a whole new obsession, which I really don't need. I already have limited shelf space. I don't need to be committing to a billion more books in series on my shelves. But we'll see. All right, let's roll again. 1. Another free pick. Up next was another free pick. And I'm going with Well Actually by Maisie Eddings. This is a second chance romance book. I have the Owl Crate Romance Edition. And this is something that I put on my 10 before the end. And we are reaching the end, and I haven't read it. So I'm looking forward to cracking this bad boy open in the month of December and getting to know these characters, exploring this world. And I've heard really good things about this author in general. So it would be cool to add another romance author to my list that isn't someone I gravitate to immediately right now. Because right now I go to like Allie Hazelwood, Lila Sage, those authors. And it would be nice to put someone else in the mix, especially someone that I have heard pretty good things about. Well, actually is the next free pick on my TBR. Another roll. 1. A blue card. Reading with friends. Stop overcommitting and actually complete one of the buddy reads you've agreed to. Up next, the Reading with Friends card, which is my call-out card. In the server I mentioned earlier where the wild friends are with the buddy reads and all that, I have said many, many times that I am going to do these buddy reads. I have done half of one, and it wasn't even in the month it was supposed to be in. I actually requested to start one in December, and that is the book that I will be putting on here. I do not own it yet. It should be here in the next week from Allurial. The book that I am using for this card is We Who Will Die by Stasia Stark. This book doesn't come out until the end of December. This buddy read is going to be a December-January read for people who aren't getting it through Allurial or have an ARC. I've heard such good things about this. Most people I know that are reading it or have access to it in some way are rating it 4 stars or higher. These are people that I trust, people that are a big part of my reading life, and I'm stoked. It has a lot of buzzwords. I know my friend Nat said there were vampires and all kinds of things in this story, and I am quite excited to dive into it sometime next month. All right, next roll. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A free pick. We got another free pick. Hooray. You are going to see a bit of a theme here because the book I am putting on for free pick is Kiss of the Basilisk by Lindsay Straub. Now, like the other books I've picked for free picks so far, this is on my 10 before the end. As you can see, I haven't really gotten to as many of those as I would like. We are going to be reading this book in December in hopes of clearing that list off. This, from what I've heard, is basically Romantasy erotica, which I don't have a problem with. I've also heard it's unhinged, which I don't have a problem with. A sequel did just come out recently, and I would like to be able to read this and the sequel in a relatively quick amount of time. I already waited too long to read this to the point where the sequel came out, and now it's a 2-book commitment compared to a 1-book commitment, but it's fine. Everything's fine. So, Kiss of the Basilisk is going on the TBR. Next roll. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue card. Ooh, Pointy. Choose a book that has a weapon on the cover. Ooh, Pointy, which is a book with a weapon on the cover. Now, there are a lot of books that I could use here. I could stretch the word weapon from one way to the other, but I'm going to stretch in a different way in the sense that I'm cheating a little bit. In the last 2 days of November, I started reading a book, and at the time of filming, there are only 5.5 hours left in the month of November. I'm not going to finish this book. I'm only 30% in, so I'll be reading most of it in December. And this TBR is already thick in terms of pages and just number of books in general. I will be adding The Things Gods Break by Abigail Owen. This is the sequel to The Games Gods Play. It follows Lyra Karis and Hades and their story and their history, apparently, from what I have read so far. And I'm excited to get through it. I am having a good time already with it. Honestly, I will probably finish this within the first few days of the month. And then I'll be able to tick something off the list. And it's on my 10 before the end. And it catches up a series until next November. So really, putting this on here, I'm doing favors for all of my lists, realistically speaking. Next roll. 2. 1, 2. Roll D6. 1 is a free pick, 2 to 3 is blue, 4 to 5 is red, and 6 is move on. 1 is another free pick. Next, we got another purple card. This time we rolled a free pick, which if I'm gonna have a long TBR, at least we're doing free picks and I get to pick what I want instead of having to fill prompts that I'm not entirely sure what to do with. I figure it's the month of December. I should probably have something holiday themed. Now, I'm not, the world's biggest Christmas girly. You're not gonna see lights and trees in my background. But sometimes, a girl's got to jump in, investigate a little bit. So for me, I am going to be reading Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochran. This is a book that I got through Book of the Month, obviously, a couple years ago. And I didn't know much about it when I got it. And I still don't know much about it. But I know it is sapphic. It is a holiday romance. And I think it is the perfect little lighthearted, ideally, addition to my December TBR. Let's get something bigger than a 1 or a 2, please. Or not. 1, 2. Another free pick. Next, we got another free pick. I am going to be using a book that's not just something that I've been really wanting to read lately. And that's a great way to do things too. It also works on a series, continues a reread, and it's young adult, which means it's gonna be quick. It'll be maybe one weekend or during my break at the end of the month. I'll just kind of crank it out and have a good time. Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. This is a sci-fi Red Riding Hood retelling set in an incredibly dystopian world. And I need to find new vocabulary, but I'm excited to get to this. This one, it follows Cinder, which I read in August for a 24-hour readathon. And something about this world sucks me back in every single time. I am currently with my book ban board working to earn the right or whatever to purchase the special editions of this from Bookish Box. And I really, really hope that I get to this soon and then I can get to Crest very soon after, which is my favorite in the series. But I'm looking forward to reading Scarlet and reconnecting with these characters and the world and everything that comes with these characters, books, all the things. All right, let's roll again. 1, a red card. Daily Double. This prompt can go one of 2 ways. Either 1, choose a book with an alliteration title, i.e. Dating Dr. Dill, or 2, choose a book with double letters that are touching, i.e. Deep End. We'll see what I find. So next we got a red card, and we got one of my favorite cards because of the thought that went into it, but this is the Daily Double. I got this idea from Brittany at Brittany Loves Reading, and I got it from one of her weekend at Timmy's when she did, it was like double, I think, but this idea did come from her, and it's either an alliterative title or a book where double letters are touching. Now, I had a lot of options for this, but I decided to go with the letters are touching option because there's a book that I have been wanting to read all November and just haven't gotten around to it because I got caught up in life as one does. But putting the card down, the book that I will be reading for this prompt is Bloodmarked by Tracy Dion. You can see the double O in blood to make it count for the prompt. This is the second book in the Legendborn cycle, which is currently a trilogy going to be 4 books by Tracy Dion following our main character, Bree, who is important. I can tell you without giving spoilers away for the first book, but I haven't read this one yet. Legendborn in November was a reread for me, but Bloodmarked is a brand new girly. I don't know anything other than things are happening. She's important. She's in a love triangle thing. I don't think that's a spoiler because it's a young adult romantasy fantasy book, kind of the vibe in general. But I don't even want to give you I haven't given the synopsis at all, but I don't even want to read the synopsis on this one because it'll probably give a lot away. But if you haven't read Legendborn yet, you probably should. And then you can read Bloodmarked with me and then Oathbound, ideally early in 2026. All right, next roll. 1. Let's see what we got for our blue card. Kiss Me, I'm Magical. There's fantasy, there's romance, and then there's the marketing strategy that combines the two into a fun little buzzword. Choose a Romantasy book. Next, we got our Romantasy card, where, yes, it's one of my favorite genres, but I had to poke fun at it a little bit, of course. Now, I will be using another 10 Before the End book for this prompt. Wow! I am putting on Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. I have been looking forward to this since it came out. I have heard good things from pretty much everyone I talk to. I have recently become interested in the idea of tarot this year. I haven't really explored much because I don't have time to do all the research that it would take to get a good grasp on it. But I'm very interested in this story and where it could go and what the magic could look like and all of the things. And I just think that I'm going to have the best time with this when I can sit down and read it, which will hopefully be sometime this month. But it's a Romantasy, it's chunky, surprise, surprise, and I am looking forward to getting to it. It's going to be a good time. This could be our last roll. I hope this is our last roll. 2. So, it's not our last roll. Stay, but add 2. Oh, thank God. Add any 2 books from your physical TBR, but you do not have to go back to start. This is probably the best card I could have gotten in this scenario. This could have gone so many ways. When I tell you, I landed on that space and I almost cried. The list, as you know, if you've made it to this point in the video, is a chunky list. So I ended up getting, for my Danger Zone card, Stay Put, add 2. So I have to add 2 books to my TBR, but I don't have to go back to the beginning. Thank goodness. Because I don't know what I would have done if I had to go through the whole thing again. I already don't know if I'm going to finish this TBR. But you're not here to listen to me whine and complain about a situation I put myself into. You're here to hear about books. The first book that I am putting for this space is Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. This is a nonfiction about tuberculosis and deadly illness. And I picked this book up at National Book Festival, and it is actually signed, which is pretty cool. I've also heard great recommendations for this from a lot of my friends. It is a Goodreads bookmark book for me, for the whatever the one is that's like short books or whatever. I am looking forward to getting that bookmark because everything needs to be gamified, am I right? But this is the first of 2 books for this prompt. And because this TBR is already so long, I'm going to be fully transparent and tell you I'm cheating again. For the very last prompt, it's Brimstone. I know I've probably just created some paradox time loop thing because I took away a Danger Zone for finishing my TBR, but I'm putting a November TBR book on the December TBR. Hear me out. I explained why I didn't read it, and it's not that I didn't avoid it, or it's not that I avoided it or prioritized other things. It wasn't realistic for me to read this. Give me some grace, because this TBR is already, before adding this, 13 books long, and 5 or 6 or 7 of them are over 450 pages. And I'm only, I've barely scratched the surface on this, so I really am reading basically a whole entire book. It counts, but Brimstone is the last book on this TBR. There's no point in rolling because we know where it's going, but for the sake of the vibe, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Normally, this is the part where I hold up all the books on my TBR and show you all the things. But I don't feel like breaking my wrist today because here's a thick book. Here's a thick book. Oh, wait, hold on. Here's a thick book. And I don't think I could pick this up if I tried. But those are the 14 books I will be trying to read in December. This is crazy to say, but there are other books I want to be reading. I am participating in both the Reindeer Readathon and Clear Your Shit this month. I have books on those TBRs that did not make it to this TBR. So it's going to be a time. This is why for those you make a planned TBR and then have a spot for your actual TBR. So here we are. Let me know, what are you reading in December? What are you excited to hear my thoughts on in December from... I'm surrounded by books at this point and I'm overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie. But what are you excited to read in December? Have you read anything that I plan on reading? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Should I run away from any of these? Be honest with me. But if you've made it this far and don't feel like talking, leave the book stack. I feel like there's no better emoji to describe what I am currently feeling than the book stack. I hope you're having a wonderful wherever you are in the world. Thank you for watching and happy time zone.